So a change of character is where price changes direction, and it's the first indication that we're going to change in trend. We usually look for this at a supply demand level for our entry model, but it can be used on the higher time frames, such as the 4 hour, to show us where price is moving next. So for example, if we have a 4 hour change of character off a daily demand, then we can obviously look for entries at the 4 hour demand or supply. If we move on to some examples of our entry models here. So the first one, you can see we come up into this supply. This is the extreme here. Take the inducement off of this. And now we're looking for our change of character. So we mark up the high here. And as you can see, all of these candles trade above each other. So there's no pullback within this leg. The only pullback is down here. And we get an inside bar inside this. So an inside bar is basically a range on a lower time frame. And as you can see, this bar is fully inside this one. So that's why it's called an inside bar. There's no other inside bars here because they all trade at different levels. This is the only one fully submerged inside this bar. And I used the inside bar V2 calculator or indicator for this. Sorry. So IBSV2. And this marks the colour of the inside bar so you can see it more clearly. So as you can see, we have a pullback here. We then take this high, and the low that created this high was this one here. And that's the low of the inside bar. And now we're looking for our entry. So we're saying, is there a sweep within this leg before the Choch? Well, yeah, there is, because we tapped into this demand. We then created this high from the pullback. And then this high gets taken, gets swept. So our entry is based on the sweep of liquidity. And so we enter at the sweep here, entering at the open. Stop loss goes above the high by 1 pip. So the high was 2.2. The stop loss is now 3.2. And for targets, we're just going to target low of the range here. And we'll be looking at targets in the next video. So this will be just covering entries. Okay, so that runs to target. And then this one here, you can see we get a change of character. This is the day before. So we get a change of character at 2 p.m. here. Price then comes back, taps into the extreme, and then there should be a circle here. So it taps into the extreme here, and then comes down, and then comes into this buy to sell range, like just here. And this is where I was looking for my entry. So this is at 9 a.m. As you can see, the high is here, which gets taken, and the low that created the high is this inside bar low. So the entry goes at 50% of the extreme here, as there's no sweep. So entry here, the high is 4.3, so we cover it by a pip there, targeting the low, or somewhere down there. As you can see, we don't quite reach target, and we start to reverse. And we're actually reversing off of this extreme demand here. So we can start to look for buys. As you can see, we have this supply created off of this doji. We then come down, tap back into there. So as you can see, there's a demand that gets respected here. We then come into this supply, pull back, creating this inside bar low, and then break the supply, just like here. So once this supply breaks, we then come down, sweeping this inside bar, and then pushing up. So at 7 a.m. here, I looked for the change of character for my entry. So as you can see, we take this low, and then the high that put in this low is this high here. So the entry is at 50% of the extreme, as there's no sweep. And then that's 3.3, cover the low by 1 pip. Target for this is 5R because we're counter trend. And then this runs straight to target. if we weren't to move, if we weren't to take profit here and we were to hold, we would have been stopped out of break even here. So moving on, we can see that there's a demand chain forming off of this flip zone. So we tap into demand there, and then we have this extreme demand which took out this low, and that was the previous day to this day. So we get a change of character. The extreme here gets tapped into again, and then so this is at 7 AM again. So what you can see is we take this low here, and the high is this one. So the entry, there's no sweep in this leg, so the entry is at 50% of the extreme candle, and as you can see we don't get tagged in here, which is fine. It's not always going to be the case that you get tagged in, especially taking 50%, because obviously price sometimes likes to tag into the open and then shoot. But yeah, I like to use 50%. It doubles your risk to reward, so that's fine for me. Don't mind missing a few trades here and there. Here we can see that we have this supply that's left behind, and it's the inside bar. So off of this supply chain, we tapped into the into the supply range here, but we didn't tap into the inside bar. So price comes back into it. It taps in a few times, creating some liquidity above here. And as you can see, at 10 AM we come and tap into it further, sweeping this liquidity. And we're looking for our change of character again. So we take this high and take the low of the inside bar. So entry goes on 50% here, like so. So 2.6 covers the high by 1 pip. As you can see again, we don't get tagged in, and that's not a problem. We were patient with this and obviously didn't get tagged, but it's not a problem. Oops. Okay, moving on. We have this supply wick here, which then came back up, retested it a few times, creating more liquidity above here. Same example as the last one. As you can see, we come in at 10 AM again, and we're looking for a change of character this time. So as you can see, we take this high, then the low is down here. But before we take this low, we actually create another high. So we pull back here, creating another high here. So I delete this previous one. And then the low we're looking to get taken is this low here, which created the high. And even though there's an inside bar, the high gets taken, but the low is already taken before. So if this low wasn't taken, then we'd use the inside bar. But as the low of the inside bar gets taken already, we can't use that. So as soon as we get this change of character here, we can enter at 50% of the extreme, like so. And the extreme is just the last candle, the highest candle here. And entry goes at 50%. So we cover the high by 1 pip. And targeting somewhere near the low because we're pro trend. And then yeah, we reverse before hitting target. I think the target was somewhere down there. Okay, yeah, so you can see how we can use this in the market and how we use our change of characters on the 15-minute. So feel free to test this yourself and get to grips with how we enter, because obviously this is a really consistent way to enter and how to trade. It provides a lot of freedom in trading, because what we do is we place our we place alerts at, say, this low here and then at the high here, or as soon as this low gets taken, we can place alert here and then wait for this high to get taken. So that basically allows us to be away from our computers, be away from our desks, and have our phones on us. So as soon as an alert goes off, you can say, right, has there been a sweep there or hasn't there been a sweep? Where do I enter? And then all you do is jump on your phone, place your order, and then you're done pretty much. You either get tagged in or you get stopped out. And yeah, it's a really good way to trade. So make sure you spend time practicing these entries. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.